What are the best DCEU movies? That's what we're going to discuss on today's show. Hey, it's me, AP, and welcome to the Saturday Movie Show, everyone. I hope you're all having a great Saturday as always. And as I said in the intro, today's show we're going to be deep diving into the headline topic of best DCEU movies. That means the DC extended universe. That means we're going to pick out some of the best movies, some of my favorite picks. I'm going to explain why I like these are my top 4 picks today of DCEU movies. It's going to be a really fun-packed show. We've got also more movie talk on the show, discussing what am I watching this weekend, movies to recommend. We've got a whole host of different movie topics on today's show, and it's going to be a fun show as always. But before we deep dive into the main headline topic of the show, we're going to, as always, go into some not so worthy blockbuster housekeeping. That is the part of the show where we talk about what's going on the channel this week and what's just going on in the community here on the YouTube channel. So first of all, make sure I'm recording. I am recording. First of all, for some not so worthy blockbuster housekeeping, the first sort of thing I want to discuss is I put out a video this week discussing a channel announcement, and the channel announcement was that I am making a short film, or I've made a short film. I think that video was titled. Big news. Something I wanted to share, and something I sort of like hinted at, a secret project over the past month or probably past couple of months really. I've sort of like dropped little hints and then sort of went off topic and not mentioned anything more, but I've not really mentioned what it is, and I mentioned it this week. I've made a short film, and the short film is called The Monster Hideaway. If you've not checked that video out, definitely check it out. I share a little teaser on that video, and I put it out as a separate video as well, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. It's going to be something that's coming out now in September 2021, and it's going to be part of the third month celebrations. We do special events on the channel every 3 months. Sometimes we do quizzes, sometimes we do like certain bigger videos, and this is sort of like a bigger video for the month. It's something I've been scheduling for September, so I've been really pleased that it's been able to get finished, and I've been able to share it before September and sort of tease it, and now we can start the hype train, hopefully, and sort of throw out some trailers and throw out some posters. And I honestly just genuinely can't wait to share it with you all. And I've really appreciate the feedback I've received so far. It's been really nice to hear some great feedback. And it's this movie. What I can say, the short film, it's 18 minutes long. I mentioned in the video, it's a horror comedy. It's got a lot of sitcom elements in there because I wanted to have like this certain feel to it. So it's got some like sitcom tropes in there. And I will say, what else can I say about it? There's actually a few links to, I suppose, what we discuss on the channel. There's a lot of links to movies on it. There's a lot of, there's sort of like physical media is kind of very much related to the main topic of the story. And I'd done that purposely because I wanted to sort of like take things and topics we discuss on the channel in the community here, and I wanted to throw it into the short film. And I feel like it grasps a bit of what we do on the channel as always, and I think it's got a bit for everyone. I think if you're like a regular watcher of the channel, I think you'll enjoy this. Look, I'm no Martin Scorsese, I'll tell you that. I'm no Martin Scorsese, I'm no James Gunn, I'm no James Cameron, but what I can say is I poured a lot of effort into this, and it may not be a masterpiece. It was a DIY filmmaking project, something to do during the pandemic to keep me occupied. It was a passion project, and you know what? It was just something fun to work on, and I really can't wait to share it with you all next month. I don't know the exact date it's going to be released yet, but it is going to be in September, and it is. I've uploaded it to YouTube now. It's on YouTube. It's all ready to go. The thumbnails there. It's just not a case of it's not loaded yet. So I'm going to work out the date. I'll let you know near the time when it is going to be released. But just keep your eyes peeled and just check out the stuff, comment on it, let me know your feedback. And honestly, when it comes out, if you want to give me some really negative but constructive criticism, I want it. I don't want you to just be like, yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. When that short film hits, even you can give me an Iron Man 3, like this movie is garbage, but give me a reason why. Give me a reason why. But I honestly, I want constructive feedback. I want, if it's positive or negative, throw it my way. I don't mind. I prefer the positive stuff. I will say that. I would prefer the positive stuff, but if you've got some constructive criticism when it comes out or of anything, just let me know. Let me know. Even if you don't want to put it in the comments, you want to send me a direct message, feel free. I'm all ears to any type of constructive criticism, definitely. What else is going on anyway? That was a big video for me this week and something I've been planning for ages. But we've got more stuff going on. I've been sort of like sideways off movies for a moment. I've been looking at picking a new video game to play. And I think it's because we had like a discussion on video games briefly last week, and it made me. I've been looking for like a new video game to play. I've been playing through GTA 5 on the Xbox 360 recently again, and I've kind of went off it a bit, just because I've just not been playing it all that often. So I've been looking for a new game, and this week I picked up. I got like on the Switch the Mario trilogy. Like it's got Sunshine, Mario 64, and is it Mario Galaxy? And I started playing Mario 64 for the first time this week. I never had an N64 as a kid. I had a PlayStation. I was a PlayStation guy. I was always into the PlayStation. Never played Mario 64, so I started playing it this week. I gotta say, going from playing something like Mario Odyssey or the more modern Mario games, you realise how far the graphics have come. But also, you also realise, looking at that game, Mario 64, how much of a leap in time that was back in the day when that came out on the N64. I never really played it back in the day. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Maybe I did see it like around a friend's house, but I never played it personally. I don't have any memories of playing that as a kid. So it was a fresh game, but it looks good. It looks really hard though. I'll be honest. I'm playing the first level and I can't even get past the boss yet. I've only played it for like 20 minutes or so, but that is a game I think I'm gonna pick as my new game to play. I just want I like platformers. I like where you can just jump in, especially Mario games. You don't really need to, you can dive into a Mario game. It's easy enough anyway. Mario Odyssey though on the Switch was my favorite game of the past couple of years. I really enjoyed that game. That was a quality game. From start to finish, it was just an unreal game. It's one of those games where I'm like, this is a game I will play again. Kind of like GTA 5. It's something I'll always pick up and play. It's one of those super amazing games. But I'm definitely going to start playing Mario 64 and see how far I can get on that. Anyway, what else is on in the community this week? I mentioned it on last week as well, or the week before, about we got the 50th episode coming up soon. I think this is now episode 42. I'm going to have to write down the numbers so I know exactly. I'm pretty sure this is 42. So I think the episode 50 will come about in around the October time. So it's not too far away because the months go super quick. So we're going to get episode 50 of the Saturday Movie Show. I put out there like what do people want to do, what anyone has any ideas. Sean in the community, Sean Quarterman, I hope you I'm really bad with surnames, and I think it's Sean. If I'm butchering your surname now, let me know, buddy. Sean Quarterman in the community here. He mentioned to me, he sent me a message and we were discussing about the 50th episode, and he mentioned like doing like I think I mentioned it as well, like doing like a top movies, some of my favorite movies, and then doing like a Q&A. I honestly don't mind it. I don't know if anyone has any sort of movie related questions. I don't want questions like what's my favorite color, because I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to give you my favorite color. I'm not going to answer my favorite soap. Don't give me questions like that. Don't give me favorite color questions. I want movie related questions, ladies and gents. But if anyone does have any like any questions like movie related stuff or questions about the channel, I'm more than happy to answer any of them questions if you do have them. Best way to do it is probably hit me up either in the comments or hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Instagram, I'll be honest, I check like social media once or twice a week. So if you do send me a message, I will get back to you. But I only go on like Saturdays and Thursdays in general when I'm uploading videos. Other than that, I really go on social media that often. But if you have any questions, also, I think it'd be fun to do if we do a Q&A, also to have like something maybe like if you've got a statement on a certain movie, or you've got like some sort of a view or on a topic or a movie, or maybe on a previous Saturday movie show that you want to like put on like a statement and put it out there, and we could read stuff like that as well as Q&As, because this show is not just about me. It's not about me and what I do here. It's about the whole community, and I keep on saying that because it is vitally important. And I always want to, I want to hear opinions, and that's why, like I said, Q&A/statements from the community. What do you want to put out there to discuss about movies, or have you got a view on a certain movie that you want to throw out there? Let me know everything. Just throw it out there. Get in contact with me, and we're going to throw it all into episode 50. I'm sure it will develop, and maybe we might change the topic. I don't know, but we'll see. For now, I like the idea of doing like top movies, top 10 movies. I don't know where I'm going to start with that list because it's going to be a hard one, but I will. That is at the moment probably something like that, and maybe we do a quiz around that time. I don't know. Who knows? We'll plan something, but we're getting sort of something put together. But I appreciate Sean for letting me know your thoughts on that and give me some ideas there. I appreciate it, buddy. Movie Bud Fist, bud. Movie Bud Fist. You got it, man. Let's see. What else have we got going on? We have got this week, I'm going to be editing some Patreon videos. I will say the first lot of Patreon videos. So there's going to be, I'm aiming for one Patreon video this month, and it's probably going to come next week now because we're getting to the end of the month. Patreon exclusive video that will be coming up. If you want to join Patreon to support the channel, to get more extra content, it's there as an extra. I always say it. It's the lowest. I think the lowest amount is $1 if you want to do it a month. Any support is always welcome, and I appreciate all the support I have so far on Patreon. It is great, and I feel the Patreon community is growing, and it's great to see. We've got bonus podcasts on there. I think there's like 7 or 8 bonus podcasts so far. We do one a month, and now we're going to get bonus videos. I'm aiming for one bonus video a month. I do the webcomics on there. The webcomics will be swapped out for a bonus video starting next month. I think this month I'm just gonna throw the bonus video as an extra. Next month, I'm gonna swap it out. Instead of the webcomic on a Monday, one week it'll be a bonus video. Then it'll be like one week it'll be the bonus podcast and the webcomic. Just gradually revolving the content on there and just expanding the content for everyone. So that is what's coming up. So I'm gonna be editing one of those videos a day. What I can say about the bonus podcast, the bonus videos, is the first ones will probably be, the first one this month will definitely be about the short film. I think I've been filming material for the Patreon stuff, behind the scenes stuff. So it'd be behind the scenes filming and editing and just general behind the scenes stuff for the short film coming up, The Monster Hideaway, and it's going to be stuff behind the scenes for that one. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to look at the material and see what we've got. Well, there's going to be something in there of the extra material. But moving forward to next month and the month beyond, I've got a few different ideas for extra content. And I've got one particular idea I'm working on at the moment. And I think it'll be fun. I don't know. I need to look into it a bit more. But I've got little ideas, and it's going to be, sometimes it's going to be extensions of the YouTube content, maybe like home theater videos, or looking at movie covers, or just movie stuff in general. But then there'll be original content as well, and new ideas that have not come to the YouTube channel previously. The whole idea is just to offer you more content, really, and it's to offer it you as cheap as possible. That's why I set there's no tiers or anything. It's you pay what you want, as long as it's above $1. I don't mind. If you want to join in, it's there for you all. So that is what's going on in Patreon, the Patreon community as well, coming up anyway. But that is it for the not so worthy blockbuster housekeeping for today's show. Let's move on to the headline topic. So the headline topic of, I'm like spitting out I'm getting so excited, I'm just spitting out here. I've probably got loads of spit on the lens now. Headline topic of today's show, anyway. The best DCEU movies so far. I'm sure in like a year's time I'll be doing another one of these videos, or in a year or two on the show. But anyway, so far there's been 11 movies in the DCEU. The DC Extended Universe of movies. The first movie was Man of Steel. The last movie to come out was the Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad movie. And that 11 movies is also counting the original Justice League cut and the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. So there's 11 movies in total. What do I think of this? What do I think, first of all, of the DC Extended Universe? DCEU. Let's go for that. I will say at first it felt a bit rushed, and it felt like they were trying to catch up to Marvel very quickly, and they kind of fell on the backside a bit. But I feel like now, only over the past couple of years, they've really started to make the mark with the DC movies. And I think it helps that they're now trying to distance themselves from having this whole connected universe. Now it's like we can have this Batman here, we can have this Batman here, we can have Suicide Squad here, that's not linked to them ones. It feels like the movies now are their own thing, and I think that works better for the DC. I think Marvel have done it differently, and they have the connected universe, and it works for them. But I think with the DC, it feels like them having movies that are more integrated into the one movie, and they're not about the expanded universe, works a lot better. So that's my views on the DCEU, sort of like my general thoughts on it. But let's deep dive into movies and some of my favourite movies in the DCEU. So the first movie I want to discuss is Man of Steel. Now this movie was released in 2013, and this was the first movie of the DCEU. And it was directed by Zack Snyder. So they went with Zack Snyder in this movie. We've got an all-new Superman. You know, we're forgetting the Superman Returns movie. We get a whole new Superman. Henry Cavill takes over the role of Clark Kent and Superman, Kal-El. We have a whole new cast of characters as well. We've got Amy Adams playing Lois Lane. We have Lawrence Fishburne in there, Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner, Diana Lane. Michael Shannon as General Zod. This is a great cast, first of all. What can I say about this movie? It's a great cast to start off with. I do like Zack Snyder's movies as well. I think Zack Snyder is a great director. I think Superman as a whole is always thought of as this sort of like happy character, and I will say the movie is definitely darker than like the Christopher Reeve movies back in the day. It's definitely a different Superman movie. It's nowhere near, nothing like resembling them old Superman movies of the 80s. But I think it's give us a different Superman. I remember when this movie first come out. Well, I remember first of all when it was getting teased and we were getting like the first images of the movie. And I remember, the first thing I remember from it was I think there was like two images that came out, or a few. And I think it's when he's in like the city. There's like a city, like an off city, and when he's fighting it's like a robot. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie again. But basically, they released an image of Henry Cavill in the Superman suit, and everyone was, first of all, it was like the suit was so much different than what we had seen before with Superman suits, because it was different. You didn't have the red trunks. It was just all blue. And you had just like a blue belt, and it looked more like a Dark Knight style Superman suit. It felt like Christopher Nolan had his hands all over this, and I know Christopher Nolan was like an executive producer or something like this on these movies, so he had his hand in sort of like designing the stylings of this, or maybe it was Zack Snyder who had full say on the suit. Who knows? But it just looked completely different, and I thought it looked ace. It looked, I really like the old suits, and for what they were in the day, they were great. But for giving us something new and fresh, it looked different, and that was great. And the movie, it was darker. It was a different telling. Henry Cavill in the role was very different to Christopher Reeve's Superman. And it felt like to me, it felt more of a Superman movie than a Clark Kent movie. I feel like the older movies are more like we're getting more Clark Kent. And I don't feel in this you get as much Clark Kent, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I feel like, this was like seeing Superman and Superman versus General Zod and seeing the whole mythology and seeing the spaceships in it and seeing, him, how Krypton was being destroyed. And I think there was just tons of things in this they got right. And, everyone at the end of this movie, people didn't like it when he broke Zod's neck. It was very dark. And I think that's what everyone will always say with this movie, what some people probably don't like, because they have an expectation of what a Superman movie is. And there's nothing wrong with having an expectation. It's kind of like if you have Batman, who is generally quite a dark, broody character, and if you made a movie that was dead joyful and happy, I think a lot of people would be like, why are you making a Batman movie that is joyful and happy? It wouldn't seem right. But it is, it worked well for me as a viewer. I enjoyed Man of Steel. I think Henry Cavill was a great choice, and I hope he does do more Superman movies eventually. I hope we do get to see more Superman movies. I'm kind of gutted we've never got a direct sequel to this. I know we've had other Superman movies like Superman in like Justice League and Batman versus Superman, and I do like them movies. But it would be nice to see another sequel to this, a direct sequel to this movie at some point. Whether we get it, who knows? But I'm always hopeful. Whether it would be Zack Snyder, who knows? But I'd love to see it in the end, another one. But this, for me, is talking about my 4 choices for best DCEU movies for me so far. This one is the best one. This is, for me, the standout. It really is. And it's... when I first watched it, I wasn't all in on it. And it was one of those films that I did have to watch a few times. But once I've watched it a few times after this, I've just enjoyed it every single time. And I think it's a really terrific film. And it is, it's not my number one choice. Again, these are not in any particular order. But we're talking about 4 of my best choices of the DCEU. This is definitely in there, ladies and gents. Now let's move on to my second choice. Second choice here in the best DCEU movies. And I gotta say, this was hard because this one, I was gonna go, well, this was hard anyway. Picking 4 movies out of them 11 was hard. But I tried to vary it, and I tried to pick different ones that I feel like connect to different genres. So the second choice is the all-new Suicide Squad movie. The one has just come out on HBO Max and the cinemas. Directed by James Gunn, starring Idris Elba, John Cena, Margot Robbie. We have Sylvester Stallone in there. And this is completely different to Man of Steel, for one. This is completely different to what we got offered in the first Suicide Squad movie. What I like about this is, first of all, I like James Gunn as a director. I really enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I've watched a few of his other ones, like Is It Super? I've seen a few other different James Gunn movies. I like him as a director. I like the way he's got that skill of he can get comedy down in action movies to a T. He's got it spot on. And he gets it in, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example for that. The comedy in that is super from start to finish. From the very start of the movie, when you get Star-Lord in that cave, they commit to the comedy, but they do it right and they blend it really well with the action. And they did it here with the Suicide Squad. I think some of the great scenes in this, and I mentioned it recently, and I will say, if you've not watched it, I'm going to give you a spoiler warning because I know this movie is still kind of fresh. So, spoilers for Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers ahead because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I think the scene in the camp when they're going in to get Rick Flag, the character of Rick Flag, and they think he's been kidnapped. They think he's sort of like held on the hostage situation. But he's not. He's held by these people who are trying to fight against the government in this corrupt place. And the Suicide go in to rescue him, and they take out the whole camp. And then they go up to the leader, and she's like, "Where's all my people?" And they've just killed them all. But the scene is just unreal. The scene building up to it, the way it was shot, the humour in it, the way you've got Idris Elba and John Cena sort of like joking around, killing people different ways. It's a well put together scene. I thought it was great, but it manages there to do them great elements of, comedy, action, blend them together really, really well. And I really enjoyed it. And I think there's definitely bits in that movie I could pick out, and there's bits in all these movies I could pick out that parts I didn't enjoy. But overall, this one, it won through for me. I think the villain having this big starfish as the villain, Starro the Conqueror, it's just completely different. And then it's like a cult. This big Starro the Conqueror then puts like these mini starfish over people's faces, and they kind of they're like connected to him and they're his army. But it feels like a very much like a cult sort of idea as well. I loved it. I think the cast was great. Standout characters, I think King Shark, Stallone as King Shark. You add in that character in. I think this was again taken very much from a James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy kind of picture. He's the Groot. He's the Rocket of the Suicide Squad, King Shark. I really enjoyed that character. It was fun, like a little comedy sidekick, the comedy element to the story, to the cast. And another standout, John Cena. John Cena, as a wrestling fan, I like John Cena, and I was always kind of thinking, will he make it in the movies the way The Rock has made it? But I feel like now John Cena is getting to that level. He's sort of slowly climbing the ladder to The Rock levels of acting fame and the level of success, and he is getting there. I think give him another 2-3 years and he will be on par with The Rock, John Cena. He is really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Peacemaker show, his spin-off show. But overall, I thought it was good. It was different, the Suicide Squad. It was a lot different than the original. I like the original movie, but whereas the original felt like they were trying to make a James Gunn movie and they were trying to rip off James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy kind of, this one just felt like a James Gunn movie because it was by James Gunn. And it felt like everything the first movie was trying to do, but they did it right and they did it properly and they got the right balance. It felt like it was doing its own thing, but it still had that sort of Guardians of the Galaxy feel, which was great. And I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was a really good watch. So the next movie on my list is a 2019 DCEU movie, and it is Shazam. And this was, again, I'm looking at my top 4 here, and Shazam was just, I was looking through the list today before doing the show, and Shazam was just a standout for me for a few reasons. And it was 2019 this movie came out. You have Zachary Levi as the main role of Shazam, and we have Mark Strong. What is the story of Shazam? It's basically a kid who discovers this magic wizard who gives him these superpowers to become this superhero. And every time he says the word Shazam, he becomes an adult, and he becomes the character, the guy Zachary Levi, and he has superpowers to take on evil. And he's awesome. He's kind of like a Superman guy. He can pretty much do everything. He's just super strong. The suit for Shazam is amazing. I love the suit. I love the brightness of it. I love that it feels like an old sort of like 70s comic. You think of like a 70s style comic. It's bright. It's colourful. It's great. It looks great. I love the look of it. What I like about Shazam as well, though, it's dipping into the side. It's more of a humour. It's a comedy film, a comedy superhero movie. I think Zachary Levi is great in the role as Shazam in this movie. But what can I say? The story is kind of like, it's big, isn't it? It's big. Tom Hanks is big turned superhero. It's like combining big and a superhero movie. And that is what I like about this. I love big. I remember my first sort of like deep dive into Shazam was through this comic, this graphic novel, and this is the New 52 Shazam comic. And I read this a couple of years before the movie come out. And this was when I was sort of like just getting into graphic novels and comics. I was never really into them as a kid, and I started reading them as an adult, and started reading a few different ones, and I got into the New 52 at the time when it was coming out, and I'd never heard of this character, Shazam, and I bought this because I thought the cover looked amazing. It just looks really cool, you can see it there. Really cool comic, but the movie takes a ton of inspiration from this. I wouldn't say it's a direct take on this comic, but I would say it's heavily, there's definitely a lot taken out of that New 52 comic. I'm sure from other ones as well, but I gotta say the filmmaker must have been reading that because there's so many elements taken from that, and for good reason. It is a great graphic novel. It is a really good. I definitely, if you've not checked it out before, check out that one. They only did one volume of that, which is a shame because there's definitely room for more stories in that particular line of comics, but we didn't get to see it in that series. But it's just like I said, it's big come Tom Hanks is big come superhero movie, and that's what I like. It's combined them two worlds, and it is just full of humor, it's a family fantasy movie going into strange worlds, magical worlds, using magic. Shazam uses magic. Mark Strong plays the villain of Dr. Sivana in this. I like Mark Strong in general. I think he's a great villain in this, though. And that role of Dr. Sivana is great. I like the little teasers as well of like the other champions, like Black Adam. So like there was teasers for future ones. But this was, again, it was a shift of a different type of movie for the DCEU. And this was kind of like one of the first shifts, really. And I think if we didn't have Shazam, we wouldn't have had Suicide Squad, because Shazam was kind of a bit of a risk, because it's a character not a lot of people know, and it's one of those where, do we take the gamble? And it seems to pay it off, because we're getting a sequel to it. We've got more of these sort of movies of these. Look, The Flash isn't. I mean, everyone knows The Flash, but would we have got The Flash if the Shazam movie didn't come out? Would we have got a Suicide Squad movie too, with the humour and the elements of James Gunn, without Shazam? I don't think we would. I think Shazam was a gamble that paid off because audiences like Shazam. And I thought it was a magical movie. I thought it was a movie for the whole family, which is great. And I just think, I'm looking forward to the sequel, Fury of the Gods. I think it's going to be a superb sequel. Can't wait to see what they expand with the story. And I just really enjoyed this movie. It's just so many different elements. But I think just the humour and the relationship between Shazam and the other kid in it, is it because you got Billy Batson, who's the main kid, and then you got the other kid who's an orphan as well. Obviously, the fostered kids. It's like a foster family, and you got the other kid who is his best friend. And when you see them getting the powers for the first time, the video in it and stuff, little parts of that was just so funny to watch. And I think the end of this movie as well, when the whole family of kids get the superpowers, and then they become the Shazam family, and it's got a feel of Power Rangers to it, hasn't it? They all get their different colour suits, they all become adults, and it was very Power Rangers-esque. And I think that's maybe another reason why I relate to this story. It's kind of like big Power Rangers superheroes all mixed into the one movie, and it is so cool. And I think as well, when he first goes and meets the wizard for the first time, it's got that really epic fantasy feel. It's just so, it feels like you're going into a different world, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was just a great movie, Shazam. So my fourth and final choice of best DCEU movies has got to go to one movie and one movie alone, and that is, this was hard, and I'll explain why it's hard, but Zack Snyder's Justice League. That is my fourth and final choice for the best DCEU movies, ladies and gents. Why? Why is it my best choice? And which ones did I sort of leave off the list? First of all, I could have easily picked Batman vs. Superman because I love that movie. I wanted to vary the list, and I wanted it to have these are still my best movies, but I feel like having a bit of variation to my best. If this was my desert island list, I'd have to have a varied list to add a bit of spice to my film watching journey on a desert island. But Zack Snyder's Justice League wins through over like Batman vs Superman and the other Justice League cut, and I suppose some of the Wonder Woman movies because of how epic it is. This is a 4-hour movie. A 4-hour movie. This came out this year on HBO Max and to limited cinemas. This was something that was driven by the fan community of Zack Snyder and the fans of DC movies and just of fans of the Justice League project as well. We would never have seen this movie if it weren't for fans petitioning and rallying to get this movie made. And, finally it got made. The extra budget was put in place to get the Snyder cut made over the original Justice League cut. And we finally get it released this year. And it was a different style of movie to what I've ever watched before. It was more... It felt like a movie that was very episodic with the different chapters. And I think the different chapters worked really well and I really enjoyed it. It was different to the original cut as well. It felt like a fresh movie. It felt like I wasn't watching the same movie as the original Justice League cut, which I also liked. I liked the original Justice League, and I'd still watch it. But this one, for me, just was a different version and a version that I enjoyed more so. I think this as well, it fleshed out more characters. And I think that's what the Justice League needed. You have a big team-up movie. You can't just focus on Superman and Batman, even though they are the biggest characters. You have to give airtime to everyone. The first cut of Justice League didn't give the Flash, and especially Cyborg, anything really. It didn't give... Cyborg was the character that didn't get any significance in that first story, I felt anyway. But in this new cut, he feels like he's definitely one of the major players. He's pivotal to the story with the mother boxes. I really feel like they did, Zack Snyder did Cyborg justice in this story, and it was a character I enjoyed more so for that reason. I think the Flash as well. He felt more expanded and it felt more fleshed out for his character in this movie. We got to see a bit more of Barry Allen in this story as well. I feel like little things what I didn't like in the first movie, like the really bad green screen where you could see the reshoots of it. It didn't look great. It felt like they corrected a lot of them mistakes, and it felt like we got the vision what was meant to be seen, which was nice to see. But overall, like the villain of Steppenwolf was better in this movie. Darkseid, seeing Darkseid was great. I really enjoyed Darkseid. I enjoyed the conclusion to this. I love seeing the Batman. I love seeing Superman as well. The rebirth of Superman in the black suit as well. The black suit looked epic. But that end scene. Let's talk about the end scene where we're seeing like the little time loop. And I think what is so great here is the story's great, the picture's great, the characters are great, but also add in what I think is so, vital to great movies is great music. And this movie has an unbelievable score by Tom Holkenborg, Junkie XL, who has done many superhero movies over the years. But this, he was scheduled to do the original one, and then once Zack Snyder was out of it and they got Joss Whedon in, he got Danny Elfman in. I like the original soundtrack, but I feel like this one is just so much more epic. It's very much like a Gladiator soundtrack. It is just so big feeling. It sounds like a monster truck on some kind of like crazy road that's going. He's in this soundtrack. What am I trying to say? This soundtrack is a monster truck on a highway to hell that is on an escalator to some super cool, amazing world, amazing realm full of great music. If that's a thing, I'm just talking really nonsense here now. But what I'm trying to say simply is the soundtrack, the music, the score by Tom Holkenberg was epic. It was amazing. And it really made some of them end scenes and some of the scenes throughout this movie, but especially that scene with the Flash. And I think it's the particular soundtrack I really love. The song is called Into the Speed Force, or Step Into the Speed Force. And when the Justice League get together, that one is a great one as well. It's just a great soundtrack. But it's all these little different pieces that go into making this epic movie. And you think 4 hours, it's going to be too long. And it is a long time. It is a long time for a movie. You definitely have to take a little break in between to go to loo. But it didn't feel long, because I think if you have a really fun, enjoyable movie that is entertaining and engaging and it has a great story, 4 hours is nothing. And for me, the 4 hours watch of this movie didn't feel like 4 hours. It went by so quick because I enjoyed every bit of this movie. And it is probably for me on par with Man of Steel. It is a great movie, great DCE movie. I love it. And it is for me just an epic movie of the year that's come out this year in 2021. It's an epic DCEU movie. And to celebrate all of those characters into one movie, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Batman, Superman, it celebrates all these characters really well. And even at the end, we get Harry Lennox as the actor Harry Lennox in the role of Martian Manhunter. How cool is that? We got that little cameo at the end, which was really nice to see. We didn't know who it was going to be. We got teased of like a cameo when we were all thinking, was it going to be Green Lantern? Could it be Robin? Who could it be? It could be anyone. We get Martian Manhunter, and I thought that was great. And I'd love to see more from this universe at some point. I'd love to see it. Whether we see it, we don't know. But it would be awesome to see at some point in the future. But anyway, ladies and gents, they are my choices for best DCEU movies. I hope you like my choices today. I just want to say movies for the future in the DCEU. There's more movies coming out, so we will go back to this topic at some point. But there is tons more coming out. We've got Shazam 2, The Fury of the Gods. That is one I'm looking forward to seeing. Black Adam. I'm really looking forward to see The Rock as Black Adam. I'm interested to see because, as I said, with this comic, it's got Dr. Sivana in it and Black Adam. Black Adam's like the main villain in this comic. And he's great, but it's going to be interesting to see Black Adam in his own movie. And The Rock is great anyway. Another one, the Flash movie. I'm looking forward to seeing the Flash movie because we're getting to see Michael Keaton return as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. So that is going to be super cool to watch. But I think the DCEU is bright for the future. I think there's a lot of things to be excited for. I think what we've seen over the past couple of years now is a bit more variation. We've got the new Batman movie coming out. There's tons to come up and tons to come out. And as a movie fan, I am excited for the future of the DCEU. What we have seen since 2013 is a varied bunch of movies. But every movie is improved upon the last one, I feel. And I think they're starting to get it right now. And fingers crossed the future is going to be just as awesome as what we've seen so far. But anyway, let's move forward and the topic from today's topic. And let's move to some movies for the weekend. What movies have I got recommendations for this weekend? I got two movies, ladies and gents. Two movies to want to discuss. One, first of all, Bug's Life. Bug's Life I want to discuss because it's kind of like an overlooked Pixar movie, I feel, sometimes. It's not quite a Toy Story. It is probably more like a Cars. But it's still a fun movie. And it's one that is easy to watch. I like the story in it. I like the characters. And I think it's one the whole family can enjoy, and it's one that I'm recommending this weekend as a movie to watch. Second movie I want to recommend, I've got time travel in my mind. I think I was looking at some Back to the Future figures, toys, the NECA figures. Is it NECA? If you've never seen them before, the NECA figures. I think that's what NECA. I don't know how you say that word, pronounce that toy brand. But they have like a Marty McFly and Doc figures. I was looking at them online, maybe getting some in the collection as like a display piece. They look awesome, but it made me think about time travel movies. Maybe that's a future topic for the Saturday movie show. Best time travel movies. That's definitely a future topic. Maybe next Saturday. But Looper is a great time travel movie. This case is awesome as well. I loved it. I think we've done this on the best covers episode. This case is amazing. You see Bruce Willis and Jules Gordon-Levitt, and they sort of move. They play the same character in this time travel movie, and it's got Emily Blunt in as well, who I think is a fantastic actress. And it's just a really interesting time travel movie. It's very different from your average time travel movie. Well worth the watch. Definitely more for an adult audience, this one, but really good movie. But they are my movie recommendations. Movies for the weekend this week, ladies and gents. So let's move the show forward into what have I been watching this past week. So I have watched, first of all, last night I've been watching a few different movies, but I suppose a standout, and I think I may have mentioned it on an earlier show, but The Green Book, starring Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Is it Viggo? I don't know, I always forget his name. And the guy who's playing, who's going to be playing Blade in the MCU, Mahershala Ali, is it? Green Book, I think this was an Oscar award-winning movie a couple of years back, but I remember watching it briefly, maybe last year or maybe this year, I can't remember now, but I think I've mentioned it before, that I watched this movie, and what I watched, I didn't watch the whole movie, I missed a bit of it, but what I watched of it I really enjoyed, and I decided to watch it all the other night. It was on the iPlayer in the UK, and look, superb movie. It's based on a true story. It's about this singer who is based in like the 1960s, this African American singer played by Mahershala Ali, and he's like a piano player, and he's going around like all the southern states of America. And back in the 60s, there was obviously a lot of trouble with racism back then, where if you were a person of, if you were black, you're a black man or a black woman, you would be basically treated like dirt. And it was it's awful when you watch any of these movies to see how things were back then. It is crazy. And it's mad how, I imagine if you go back in time, you go to some of these places in like the way people were treated back then. It is mad. But this movie is so great at looking at like that, getting an insight into that world of how things were, and how there's this man who is, he feels like kind of lost between both worlds, because he's kind of like a high class guy, so he doesn't feel like he fits in with communities of black people in just like general communities. How can I say it? Say like the way he puts it in the movie is he doesn't, because he's black, he doesn't fit in with white people because he's black. And he doesn't fit in with black people because he's like this high class piano player, and he's playing for white people. So he's kind of lost between both worlds. And you have Viggo Aragorn, he plays the driver, he's driving around the country on this tour, and he's like this Italian guy. And it's kind of a weird mix, because you've got this guy who's kind of quite a bit racist of Aragorn's character in this, of what's his name, Tony Lip. And he's quite, you can see he's like this guy, he's definitely not like pleasant at first towards him and towards black people. But then you see this great relationship, this great friendship grow between them throughout this movie. And you can see of Mahershala Ali's character as well. He does not like him. He plays the character of Doc, the doctor in this. That's his name, like the doctor. And, you know, he has connection problems to Tony Lip's character as well. So it's really an interesting story, and you see them going around the country and doing these different gigs in different audiences, and you see the way he is, even though he's like this high class piano player and he's getting booked for these gigs, they don't let him use the toilet that white people use, and it's just so bizarre the way the world was back then. But just to see this story on film and to see it, knowing it's a true story as well, I find it really interesting. I can see why it won the Oscar. I think it's a really good movie, and it's one I really enjoyed, and well worth checking out. If you've not got it on DVD or Blu-ray or physical media, It's on the iPlayer in the UK this week, so check it out that way if you've not seen it before. Another thing I've been watching this week is the Eternals new trailer and the new Marvel movie. I seen a teaser a couple of months back and I wasn't super keen on it, but I feel like they nailed it with this trailer. They made a trailer that I was excited for. I was watching this trailer though, and I don't know if anyone else got this in the community. Let me know. I felt like this looked kind of a bit Harry Potterish. It reminded me of like the later Harry Potter movies. It had like that magical feel to it. I don't know much about the Eternals, so I don't know if magic is kind of like a thing, but it felt like very, very Harry Potterish in some elements of this trailer, like the villains and the creatures and the overall look, the aesthetic of it. It looked reminded me a lot of the world of Potter, and I liked what I've seen. It made me more excited for the movie now. I think is it coming out next month? I think it's coming out pretty soon. But I know with this movie though, Kevin Feige was interviewed about it recently, and I think it was on Screen Rant, and they asked him about the release because they had Shang-Chi that came out recently, and that was the cinemas only release. But with the growing numbers of the Delta variant in America at the moment, I think there's a lot of worry. Like people are a bit worried about, people going to cinemas, that they're going to make as much money. So I think at the moment someone interviewed Kevin Feige about this, whether it would be a hybrid release of a cinema plus Disney Plus release for the Eternals, and he said I think he said something like at the moment we're keeping our options open basically, and it'd be interesting to see whether the Eternals gets a hybrid release now with the growing numbers in the US. I know in the UK we're kind of like I think things are calming down somewhat, even though we are still having like casualties of this horrible virus, but it'd be interesting to see whether they do a hybrid release. My gut tells me that from that comment we'll get a hybrid release of Eternals, and we'll be able to watch it from home as well, which I'm looking forward to. I would love to see a hybrid release. It would have been nice to see Shang-Chi, because I'm not going to cinemas at the moment, but who knows? Who knows what will happen? Let me know what you think will happen. But anyway, ladies and gents, that is today's show over and done with. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's show, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content as well. And let me know your thoughts on today's show. What do you think of today's topic? What are your best DC Extended Universe movies so far? Give me your 4 choices. What did you think of my choices as well? Did you feel like my choices should have been changed? Do you think Batman vs. Superman should have been in the Dawn of Justice? That was a hard one to leave off the list because I do like that movie. But you can only have 4. You can only have 4 choices. That's the way it goes. But thank you very much for watching. It's been a great show, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great topic to deep dive into. But thank you, as always, for watching. And as always, I will see you next time.